Baby Struck. Please don't ask about that one. Okay, without further ado, let me introduce our guests, including Gray Delisle. Frank Todaro. Not just yet for True.
No, he's here.
Oh, he is there? Okay. True Valentino. And Luke Millington Drake. Okay, so to start off this panel, is this y'all's first DragonCon?
Yes.
Every single person. Is this all your first time in Atlanta?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
That sounds like a layover, I guess. So yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah, I've only ever seen the airport, so it's great.
Haven't seen the what?
I've only ever seen the airport.
Oh, yeah.
I think we walked as far as the Hard Rock Cafe, I think, the first time we got here.
That was great.
It's lovely.
So have you had any of our local cuisine?
And
Yes, the Hard Rock Cafe. Yeah, in beautiful downtown Atlanta.
Y'all know that's a chain, right? They have those everywhere, in fact.
Okay.
My friend from Louisiana told me about a great Italian place in her neighborhood called the Olive Garden. She honestly didn't know. She's like, it's just their breadsticks are so good. Oh my God, y'all not can't believe that. And anyway, it was, yeah. And so we
That's
had
so
a lot of,
cute.
it was a while ago. It was like 10 years ago, but still.
Okay, so
Like, y'all are just, I love those breadsticks. And I love Atlanta too. And last night I had fried green potatoes, but I'm a Southern girl, so my family's from Texas, so we eat a lot of, it was fried oysters and all kinds of good stuff.
speaking of words,
Do you have any recommendations?
well, I have
Wisteria is where I ate last night, and it was like Southern food, and it was really, really good.
I love Southern food, so
Yeah,
I'll
really good
ask
fried
about that at
chicken.
some point.
they just asked
Queens, it's kind of South New York, right?
Sorry, what?
Said I'm from Queens, that's like Southern New York, right?
Yeah.
Southern.
Y'all have great. We have really good Korean food here, actually. We have the largest Korean population outside of Korea.
Here?
Yeah, in Atlanta.
Wow.
So that
We
is
have a
my
big town there,
suggestion.
yeah,
Just pick a place where you cannot read the name and go order something, and it'll be good.
This is the food recommendation panel there.
Yeah. Food Network.
Good oldies.
I mean, you know, food and drinks, y'all are cups, right? So,
I'm a chalice, technically.
speaking of the show, what was the audition process like for this one?
I can go for that. I mean, I was very lucky that I had the reference of Tim Curry in the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which was a movie that I grew up on. Tim is currently the background on my phone. He's a hero. So I just rewatched that film 1,000 times, and then went for it. So here we are.
Have you seen the Shadowcast perform?
No.
We've got Lips Down on Dixie. It should be performing tonight. It's the 50th anniversary of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, in fact.
It is, yeah.
So, if you are awake that late, I will not be. Highly recommend it. Yeah. Anyone else audition stories?
Sure. I guess when I got the sides for the audition, one of the references they gave was Lou Costello from Abbott and Costello. I love that Arab comedy and everything. So yeah, I guess I kind of put in a lot of because they're kind of like this ripped out of time. Like doing the show is like time travel. We're getting to like originate characters that went up here that could have come out of the 1930s, and it is brilliant. I mean, for me personally, my taste, brilliant. But in making the voice, I also kind of, so I'm an Italian guy from New York. I got to sneak in some of my relatives here and there, you know, like when that you hear the eggplant voucher. That's my Uncle George, you know. There's so you can't almost sound like that. It's like a Marine, 12 feet tall, Battle of Midway, yeah, big dude. And he was an eggplant. It's like,
I didn't even know I booked the role. I mean, I had already done the butcher's wife in it, you know, the one who talks like this, you can take me out for my anniversary. And I'd been working with Dave Lawson for years and decades probably. And so they brought me in to read, and then the pandemic happened. So I was in my robe, and my agent called and said, hey, you know, I know the world's shut down, but they're still doing a film festival in France called Annecy, and they want you to just do a video of your Cuphead character for it. And I was like, oh, I don't even remember what the character was. And she was like, I was like, I don't remember the name. Could you tell them what the name is? And I remember the voice I did, so just tell them what the name of it is, and I'll do it. And she was like, I thought it was Miss Chalice. They said it was Miss Chalice. And I was like, no, I didn't. I mean, I auditioned for it, but oh my God, did I get the part of it? Let me check. And then she was like, yeah, you're it. And I was like, oh my God, I was so excited. So yeah, so I did a video right away. And my favorite pandemic robe.
But you had the voice already, even though you didn't know you had the part?
Because I've been doing, well, I just used the voice that I used for the part, but I, you know, my family was really religious growing up, so they were Pentecostal. We weren't like really allowed to watch much modern things, but then my grandma took over the job of raising me, and she just busted out all these old movies. So I love like Rosalind Russell and like all. I was, you know, Wuthering Heights, like I love all that stuff. So I just picked up one of the. I did sort of like a young Rosalind Russell kind of thing, you know, just kind of talking like that a little bit, you know, just kind of have that kind of like peppy little pace and a little bit of a stylized way of talking. Yeah. And dancing across the rainbow. Anyway, but yeah, so I was really excited to find out that I got that way after I got it. And now it's the star of our show.
Mine's not as exciting as the first audition of doing it was, I did it in my car. I just did it on my phone. And I remember I did one take and I listened back to it and I was like, oh no, I don't think this was good. So like I ended up being in my car for maybe like 30 minutes, and this was in the summer. And then also you have to turn the AC off, so like, so I was just in my car sweating a bunch. So yeah, guys, sweat.
It's off right here where you start paying and sweat.
Yeah.
Did you have any particular inspirations for your voice?
Well, oh yeah, they sent me a bunch of like mob, like 1930s like mob movies and stuff like that. So I was just like, all right, this guy's a gangster, cool.
Oh yeah. So obviously the show is based on the video game. Did y'all play the video game before?
Yes.
I'm awful, absolutely awful at the video game.
Everyone is, I think.
Yeah. That's kind of the point.
I don't think my head talks to my hands that quickly anymore.
Yeah.
To actually jump on
Talks to your hands.
Yeah, isn't that how the head's
Telling them to strangle you right now.
Yeah.
I'll say they brought Drew and I in to do some promos for it, and they wanted us to like comedians and wanted us to riff off of playing the games. We were so bad that we just kept dying, and the comedy was getting depressing. So they had to play a video of someone else who had played the game earlier, just in case. And we're just kind of like, oh, play. Like it's like those TikTok when the controller isn't on, you know.
Like the little 4-year-old brother.
Yes.
You know, you ask
And
him playing,
the
you're like,
controller
here.
is not-
Yeah. You're standing on the couch actually making jump. But yeah, so it's it. When we're like, oh, it's gonna take Cracker Jack time, and you guys just do this.
Yeah.
I've never played video games. I've never played.
Never?
That last time I ever played a video game was in an arcade, like in a laundromat when I was like 8 years old. They had a Pac-Man, and I screamed so loud. My grandma was like, "Hey, stupid! Give me that! You're gonna have me wasting money on you. Get over there and be quiet." Because I was disruptive. Disruptive.
Fantastic. Besides voice acting, do y'all have any surprising talents? And not video gaming, obviously.
Well, I really want everyone to follow me on Spotify because I write songs every week and I record them every week and I put them out on Spotify. And Gray Delisle on Spotify. And if you come come to my table and you show me that you followed me on Spotify, I'll give you a free sticker. I'm that desperate. And it's sort of like 60s country. It's sort of like Loretta Lynn or Dolly Parton. There's some rock and stuff in it too, but it's mostly country influence.
Can we do a collaboration?
Yeah.
I would love to do
You
that.
want to do a collaboration right now?
I'm not you on the spot. But I did write a song called 40-something Runaway, and then I went to dinner that night, and I sat down next to Cherie Curry from the Runaways. And I was like, are you? And she was like, yeah, and I was like, oh my gosh, I just wrote a song called 40-something Runaway today, and then you're a runaway sitting next to me. And so I was like, we have to do it together. And she was like, well, send it to me. And I thought, oh, that's her way of being nice and being like, no. But I sent it to her, and she was like, let's do it. So we did it, and we put it out, and it's on Spotify. She's a great singer. I mean, no, everybody knows that. Yeah.
Speaking of singing, what is everybody's favorite song to sing? Either something you wrote, something you did.
Oh God. On the way to sessions, I would, in Mugman's voice to warm up, sing Rush. A little 2112 action.
Can you give us a taste?
Huh?
Can you give us a taste of Mugman's voice?
A taste of Mugman's voice. And the men who hold high places will be the ones to
Sounds better in my car.
On the way to my recordings, I would listen to the Rocky Horror Picture Show soundtrack and be like, how do I see my faithful hand in hand? And that's, yeah, it's the perfect warm-up song for me. But I still like singing that today. Yeah. And I guess the Christmas song in the show.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Again, I'm the boring one here. I don't have a favorite. I don't have a favorite anything. I like too many things to give that top spot to stuff, so
Top 3? Top 10?
it's hard for me to even.
Okay.
I'm so indecisive.
Come on, Dan, come on.
I will turn this car around.
It's no Disneyland for anyone.
I love story songs, and so I was raised on like mountain music, like the Carter family, like June Carter. I play the auto harp, so all the songs. My son's like, why do you keep writing those dead baby songs? Because they really are like when something happened in a town, that's how they would get the message out. You know, they would like write a song about it so everybody would know. So a lot of old English ballads about like the Knoxville girl or whatever that started out as like an old English ballad about this woman who was murdered, and then it made it over to the States, and it's really boring. But I just wrote an answer to it where the woman like takes over and like has her revenge on it. But there's a song that I wrote called Sawyer, and it's just about a sawmill and like people who go work forever and just like their lives are kind of ripped. It goes, Sawyer, Sawyer, you cut me so deep, my woman and children hang their heads down at me. When the timber come calling them off of the track, young boys go wandering and broken men come back. And there's a whole story about the guy's life going down the tubes, but it's 4 verses. I sing it a cappella on the stage. That's how we open all of our songs.
I had to like close my eyes for a minute and just sort of like be there around the campfire listening to you sing.
I love singing a cappella. It's so much more fun.
Especially when you're good at it.
Yeah.
What if you were bad?
Okay. So besides singing, what made y'all decide to be voice actors?
Oh, this one I can answer.
Nailed it.
I've always just growing up, I always would really pay attention to the voices that were on the cartoons that I was watching, and I'd always try to imitate those characters. And I would always try to just imitate people in real life. I'm kind of just a sponge, so if someone sounded weird or uncle said something funny, I would always try to imitate that stuff. And it got me in a lot of trouble in school with teachers and stuff. But I always had kind of, I guess, an ear for that stuff. So yeah, I just paid attention to that. And then when I got older, I was like, well, if I can make this a career or a job, why not? So.
No, I was here. I mean, most of my childhood was, sitting watching SpongeBob or Fairly Odd Parents or
I'm gonna bet you.
I know, right? It's wild. But like watching those shows, eating sugary cereals and being like, sort of being like, wait, can you actually do that as a job? Oh! Sorry, I
Did you not know that?
I just wanted, that was a yeah.
To be fair, we just met because we
Yeah.
all work separately because of, reading, so yeah.
But yeah, and then being like, oh, is there someone actually who does that's a job, and then so going like pursuing acting and doing all of that, and then being like, it's always something I desperately wanted to do, and just wild luck that I get to do it. It's great, yeah.
Hi. I'm an only child, and I talk to myself a lot.
That's it.
Ditto. When I was a little kid, I had one of those tape recorders with the little handles, the big giant things that we had in 1824. And I would always like when kids came over to play house or whatever, I would record it and make little like chimes between the episodes, and it was always kind of in the back of my mind. I remember finding out that like Alan Oppenheimer was Skeletor and Falcor, two different wars, completely different things, but I loved it. And like started really kind of finding that stuff out. Then I went to film school, and I was in theater and whatnot, and then eventually, I had that aha moment in the 90s where I'm like, oh my God, this is I could pay the rent like this. This is something I love, and I love it. And if you want to do it, you can do it as long as you love it and you work at it. And now here I am talking to you, wonderful people. So yeah.
I was an only child as well with the tape recorder thing. Yeah, my grandmother raised me, and she worked in a factory, so she also would get me involved with plays, so they would watch me. There was one junior theater that would bus us from school to the play. And my grandma was so smart. She was like, great, I can work extra hours. They'll take her from school to the play, then I can pick her up at 7 o'clock when I'm done with my work. And then on the weekends, I did have a boombox. But I love stand-up comedy. I'm still a stand-up comic, and I just put out a new special. It's coming out on YouTube on September 7th. I put my other special out through Amazon, and nobody could see it because I'm not a Prime member, blah, 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 and I thought I just want people to see it. That's all that's important. So I was like, I'm just putting it on YouTube. Anyway, but I would learn the Tonight Show, like whatever the comedy was on the Tonight Show. My grandma had to get up so early in the morning, but there were no rules. She was like, you can just go to bed when you're tired. So I was like, okay. So I would stay up and watch the Tonight Show, learn the comedy routine, and then in the morning while she was curling her hair, I would be doing all the voices or whatever comedy. She was laughing, getting ready, and she's like, oh my God, that's so funny. You should do that. So I'd do it from all my friends. It was all other people's material. I didn't realize you weren't supposed to be doing that. So I finally started writing my own material. But when I first started doing stand-up, I did it at the Comedy Store in Mitzi Shore. It was Polly Shore's mother. She ran the Comedy Store, and she was like, you do great impressions, but you need jokes. Write some jokes while you're working on your comedy. You could do some cartoons maybe or something. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll go do that. And I thought you could just do it right away, like just sign up for it or something. It ended up being like the hardest job to get into of it all time. But if you can, like you said, if you're really good, there's room for new good people. So it's almost impossible, but it's not impossible. Just almost. Yeah.
But those old habits I had, like when I was a kid, I would impersonate anyone that had sort of an interesting voice. And like maybe last year I was at Marshall's, and there was this woman on the phone, and she was like, you're like, I can't even believe what happened. And I was going through clothes, and I just sort of, subconsciously being like, I know, it's crazy. And she just was like, stared at me, and she goes, there's a guys literally making fun of me. I'm crazy right now. But yeah, just if you hear something goofy, log it away. You never know when it's gonna come in handy.
I used my friend had a girlfriend with a really annoying voice that was like, and I use that all the time.
Yeah.
And then there was an old lady at our church who brought this younger woman with her to church to sort of like assist her. And every time the pastor would go like even 1 second over the limit, she would go, I've got people to see at home. I've got to get out of here. He's going on and on. And she would go, I know, maybe we're just gonna wrap it up soon. Well, I hope so. Because I got to go shopping. And I loved it as a kid, because I was like, yes, let the lady talk. Because he would wrap it up. Like, yeah. Anyway, so, and one time, this is hilarious, the pastor said, okay, let's all bow our heads and say a silent prayer for anyone we know who's sick at home and couldn't be here with us today. And she went,
Vera! So I always called her Vera, even though that wasn't her name. It was her friend who was sick that day. That was her silent prayer. I loved it.
I wish I had a moment of silence for Vera.
I know.
Yeah, like wherever she
She's
was.
definitely a goner now. That was like 30 years ago.
Yeah, what she's like in that chair.
Well, great, we've got a surprise for you.
My friend's grandmother had dementia, and her next door neighbor had cancer, and so her friend came over to borrow something, and we were there, and it was so awkward because she goes,
Oh, Janie, I thought you were dead. Oh, I would have gone over there, but I thought you were dead.
she kept saying it. I was like, oh, it's so awkward. Don't say that anymore. It's so weird.
People.
Has anyone else had one of those moments in public where you just like found the perfect voice? Or conversely, one where you were in public and you made a voice or noise that probably you shouldn't have done and someone else caught you?
Well, there was one time I was in the UK, like, you know those machines where they tell you to go up to the next cashier, so there's the cashier woman who's like in the UK, they use her for everything, she goes, cashier number 4, please. Cashier number 11, please. I was standing behind this woman at a cashier and I just started doing that voice and she walked over to the cashier number 4, please. And I turned around and was like, wait, where am I going? I was like, oh no, I'm so sorry, that was me. So stupid.
Oh, God.
Rude.
The only thing I can think of that was kind of weird is, I don't know if they have that here, but in the walkways, when you press the thing, it goes, wait. Oh, yeah. Wait. I remember I kind of got into like this weird loop where I just was saying, wait. Wait. People were like, what? Oops.
There was a time when I was a kid too, for some reason, the Chicago airport, there's the woman on the train who goes, Concourse C, as in Charlie. And I could not stop saying that as a child, and my mum was like, just give it a rest. So, yeah, or, I don't know. Yeah, John. Fluval, shoes, yeah. For some reason last night, anyone know John Fluval shoes?
Yeah.
We went off on a tangent. That was last name, John.
There are a lot of tiki drink
shoes.
I used to do a fake answering machine message where I would just pretend like they got my wrong number, or I would go, like,
You've reached 818-555-2930. Please leave a message.
and then I would just like hang up, and people would call, or I'd go,
The number you have reached has been disconnected or is no longer in service.
and then people go, I called you, and it's like, oh, if you keep listening, and then I go, I'm just kidding, it's great, you can leave a message, but it never got there. I also had a thing where I would pretend like I had a child. I have 3 children now, but I didn't have any children at the time. And I was a young single lady in Los Angeles trying to meet people, and it backfired on me so bad because I would go,
Hi, you reached Great Dial. Your message.
like I this bartender at the Universal Bar and Grill. Is that still?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. It was a banging joint when I was 24 or whatever. But I this cute bartender, and I gave him my number, and then I got the next day a really awkward message from him going, hey, I'm gonna be traveling for a while, but I'll call you back when I get back in town. But anyway, it was really, really nice meeting you. And anyway, take care. And he hung up. And then, much later, a friend of ours was like, did you ever call Gray? And he was like, oh, I did, but you know what? I just can't do the kid thing. I'm just not ready. And he's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, oh, doesn't your kid? He's like, no. And he's like, oh, let me get her number. And he goes, no, she's like married to somebody now. But that was like, I didn't get married. I get married a lot, so. Between husbands, but.
I told the story yesterday. I don't think I had ever told it before that. When I was a kid, so there was this McDonald's in Long Island that we were driving right over the border from Queens, and we drove through one night, and you know the little box that you're talking to, and I rolled up and I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. There's something wrong with the microphone. Can you please just? sir, we're so sorry. We're so sorry. Can you just drive around and give your order to the window? So we drove around. I'm so sorry again about that, sir. Can you? Now we got like this big old white van, a bunch of kids in the back, and band instruments and stuff. And I look at the guy and I say, get out of here! We got banned from the McMansion on Jericho Turnpike. I never went back. Using your powers for evil.
That just reminded me, I used to have a voicemail where I answered the phone, and then they think they're talking to me, and then they just hear the beep. So and that was childish of me to do that.
That was like the thing to do in middle school. I got caught by so many of my friends.
Yeah, my son has that now, he's 16.
Again, that was very childish.
I remember this horrible prank call I used to do, and I only remembered it like within the last 10 years. That I was home alone, and I was like, I know a fun thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna open up the phone book, and I would look for like Mr. and Mrs. Jack Thompson or whatever, and I would call up, and I still do the voices, the voices that I use for Catwoman on the Arkham games, but I would call up and go, hi, and she would go, hello, and I go, is Jack there? No, who's this? And I'm like, oh, this is Candy. We just tell him that I called, and I really miss him a lot. So, and I was like 8 or something. And I would go down the list of like probably 100 people a day. And I was ruining lives all day. And I kind of like forgot about it. I know, my friends were like, oh, prank calls. And I was like, oh, I used to do this one. Oh my God. It's like dawned on me recently, like, oh my God. People just coming home thinking everything's fine. And someone's just sitting there like,
Where you been, huh?
it's horrible. Oh.
Okay, so I'm gonna do one last question for me, and then I'm gonna open it up to the audience. So I always wondered, because nobody ever gets credited for this. Have y'all done any voice work or otherwise for theme parks?
I thought you were gonna ask a totally different question.
What do you think I was gonna ask?
I thought you were gonna ask, on the show, have we voiced any other characters on the show that maybe people wouldn't know that we voiced?
Well, let's
Just
do
like
that too.
Okay.
Theme parks first, then the show one, and bring it back around.
I haven't done no theme park.
I'd say the Pirate Red on the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and in Disneyland and in Disney World and in Disney Paris and all that. I haven't been to that one yet, but yeah, and it was a dream come true because my son, who is now 16, but when he was really little, he was like a little, he was just always like a little social justice warrior. It was so cute. So we were on the ride and he saw like what was happening with the women in the chains and everything, and he's like, what's that? What's happening there? And I was like, yeah, just a little human trafficking on him. I was like, yeah. He's like, well, they have to take that off. And I was like, yeah. I was like, I don't know if they're going to though, because Disney people really like, there are people who just don't like things to change. And he's like, well, if they can change it and put Johnny Depp on the ride, they can change it to take off the human trafficking. And I was like, I know, this is a very good point, but I don't know. So anyway, and then like a few years later, they had the audition came around for Pirate Red. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, they're changing it. They're changing it. It's going to be awesome. And I had no idea how to book it. And then when I got it, I was like, oh my gosh. It was very exciting. And I actually pulled up the old tweet because I actually tweeted about us being on that ride and my son being upset about the human trafficking and that they could change it, Johnny Depp, they could change that. And then, it got, anyway, so I was able to prove that I actually, that we actually noticed that. And yeah, so.
There was a theme park called Kathmandu, just came out last year, and I'm the voice of the Mad Mage. This weird VR ride. Really cool experience. I think it's the only one in the Caribbean, right? But the fun thing is that when we were doing the records for it, it's like it's a whole big story, and then like I yell at you as that guy and the robot while you're waiting in line and stuff. It's weird. But part of the inspiration is this curator from the British Museum that I follow named Irving Finkel, and I just need thank you. I need to give a shout out to Irving Finkel, who's the coolest guy.
Yeah, Irving.
Irving Finkel, wherever you are, I love you and I want to meet you one day. I'm your biggest fan. He's the ancient Sumerian Mesopotamian section, and he figured out the rules of this game called and I'm just going to go rambling on about ancient board games now because that's what I'm interested in. What was the question again? Irving Finkel, look him up on YouTube. Curator's Corner, British Museum.
I love board games.
Irving, like Washington Irving. Finkel, like.
And also no on the theme park question.
Yeah, no, it's a no from me.
Let's move on to the,
But when they open the Cuphead show theme park,
Yeah.
if you're looking for fun,
Yeah.
it's roller coaster.
I never skipped over the theme song because it was so good.
it is.
We actually put out a vinyl record recently. Yeah,
Yeah.
we should pump that. Like, there's a vinyl record of all the songs from Cuphead and some added ones too. And they were awesome songs.
Ego is back.
Yeah.
One of those songs, so.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Another thing about Ego, the guy who wrote the music, was amazing. He and I both collect weird gothic stuff. You know, like I have this like a gynecological table from 1910 or something that's in my bedroom. I know it's like, you know, it's got stirrups that you take off and you put it. It's just funny. I just think it's funny. And it's got like black glass on the top, and I use it just for storage. To store my vagina. I'm just kidding. But anyway, so we love that because when I was telling him about that, he's like, "Are you gonna sell that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm thinking about selling it, so he might buy it from me." But I love like old medical equipment and old weird anyway, I used to collect these vintage posters of like different organs. They were old medical posters they would put up in hospitals or doctors' offices from like the 20s and 30s, and the colors are gorgeous. They're usually on like this really pretty like mint green paper, and they've got these gorgeous like fuchsia, like beautiful the way the organs are painted. Anyway, it's really good.
Organs?
Organs. Like it was like hearts and kidneys and like I had like a whole body, like a whole system. But the colors are beautiful. I know it's weird. But anyway, so I go to Ego's house to record that record. I sold those charts. I had them like framed really beautifully, and then I ended up selling them because my designer was like, "We shouldn't put these organs in your dining room. That's not good." Anyway, but we're having a pie. So anyway, I was going upstairs to use the bathroom, and I was like, "Oh my god, my baby, he bought them from some dealer, like from some antique dealer. He bought them." And I was like, "Those are mine." And he was like, "Really?" And he goes, "Oh my god." He's like, "I remember the guy saying that the voice of Daphne Blake from Scooby-Doo, these were hers." And he's like, "But I thought, since they were so old, I thought they were like Heather North or one of the original Daphnes from a long time ago." And I was like, "Oh, this is Daphne. That's so weird." You know, anyway, so, but this is a really weird coincidence when I went to his house. And he might buy my gynecological table. So. Yeah, I've lost Drew. Drew's like, "I thought you were cool for about 4 minutes."
He's a bit more afraid of you.
As you should be, peasant. You never rise to the ashes of your shame and humiliation.
Just reminding me, the first time I saw you speak was at MomoCon. I walked in like 3/4 of the way through the Avatar panel, and Craig Baldwin was talking about his tattoo, and you, in the Azula voice, were like, "I have a tattoo on my labia." That was the first thing I've ever heard you say.
It's actually on my upper thigh, and then my pussy ate it.
That was the line. I was like, I'm gonna keep this in mind because if, we could go down that path this panel, and by God, we did. Bringing it back around, are there any voices in the Cuphead show besides your main characters that you did that maybe people would be surprised about?
I'm a goat.
Stop bragging. Bring us all the time.
I think that the fans named him too, Pitchfork. But yeah.
Wait, you're the goat?
Yeah, the goat.
Really?
All the goat noises are me.
Oh.
Yeah. And because it's like a meow meow. And gosh, I think we always like
I did like
the thing
background people screaming.
Yeah.
Oh!
Like just like.
I think it was in the first episode. He's an elephant.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, the devil! I thought that was Dave. No, that's me. And then also I played a cop, I think, or
Yeah.
the cop.
Yeah.
Son, you're on your own or something.
That was the earthworm in the end of the third nap. The eggplant bouncer, the gumball machine. That guy. Yeah, but like you hear us like throughout, like hey, telephone, good job.
Yeah.
There's-
They get you for 3 voices for the same price. I was the screwdriver lady that like tells
Chalice to be quiet and like.
Oh, I did growls for the those big guys in jail or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I did growls for them.
Yeah.
You were the.
I was one of the ghosts too in that the three ghosts episode. I did that.
Ah,
one year.
what a good episode.
Yeah, I love that.
That makes sense.
And then,
I don't know.
It's like we don't remember.
No, I did actually.
I'm valid. I have a reason to be.
Okay, and with that, we're gonna open it up to audience questions. The mic is to my left, to your right, right there. If you have a question, feel free to get up.
Oh, go ahead, please.
And
No,
also
thank you,
feel
thank
free
you.
to adjust the mic, my wheel will work. Or you can take it off, it's wireless.
Be gentle and ask questions.
Be rough with me.
Is there gonna be another season?
We haven't gotten officially canceled.
Yeah, honestly, we know as much as everyone else knows. We don't know anything, but we haven't been cancelled, so that's a start.
Yeah, we haven't done anything egregious yet.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that hashtag.
Oh yeah, the
hashtag.
comment one is so
Yeah,
great.
that is,
Keep that going,
it's
yes.
very
But
kind.
it was
Thank you.
constantly going. Yeah, it's constantly keep it.
What's the hashtag?
Renew the Cuphead show, please.
Everybody tweet hashtag renew the Cuphead show. Need to be more.
Is it still called tweets?
I'm calling it Twitter. I'm calling it tweets and Twitter. I'm never gonna say that other
They
thing.
still
It's
haven't
stupid.
changed what the wording is on most of the websites, so it clearly does not matter.
Good. Let that idiot be embarrassed.
What was your favorite episode to really record in the Cuphead show?
And for me, it was the Christmas episode. That one was just so fun to sort of get a chance to play the devil, but also as Father Christmas was a kind of interesting crossover. And I got to sing that silly song again, which was so great. So yeah, that was for me.
To record the Ice Cream Man. I love the unhinged mug man.
That was so
Get
great.
it, like, yeah, especially reader myself. I like the sword and sorcery stuff, you know, and yeah, it's very relatable. So a little bit of method acting there.
I like the one where when Chalice goes, I don't know what it's called, but where when she was little in the orphanage and
They got to talk like Chalice, but like a little girl Chalice. You know, that was kind of fun.
Mine has to be the one, I don't know the name of it, but like I kind of start like not taking King Dice under my wing or wait, is this one here?
Yeah, they're all.
Oh, okay. It's the one where like
We find
I
it on
kind
the
of
screen.
yeah, that one. Yeah, that was fun because the way that they were kind of writing Cuphead's lines of kind of being like this kind of agent kind of to King Dice, like that in my head, I've always pictured like that is what Cuphead like should be more like, sound more like. But yeah, that episode, I don't know the name.
And I also really loved doing the Release the Demons episode because when I came in to record for that one, they had all of the artwork of the demons, so I was able to see, so when he's like, these are my finest demons, I was able to see the comparison of the two of like what they keep bringing out, so that one was so fun. And it was just so much screaming, which was always very nice.
I love the design of the horseman of that. It's got this Ralph Bakshi
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
feel to
yeah.
it, where they're just, it's like this weird, hyper-realistic, scary thing next to, yeah, the finest demon. That was so awesome.
Hi. My question is for Luke. Do you think the devil favors the henchman or King Dice more?
Oh my god. I think, well, I mean, Dice is number one. So I guess maybe in public, Dice, but I think the devil has a very special place in his heart for Henchman. Because truly, I think that Henchman is his only friend, the only one who understands him.
Henchman? Boss.
Yeah, but boss.
Boss.
Yeah. But yeah, I would hope so. I love Henchman though. That relationship's so funny. When he's like, "Where you going on vacation?" He's like, "That's him to go on vacation." It's so great.
Hi, I just wanted to know, outside of your characters, who is your favorite character in either the show or the game?
Mine is our parental figure, Elder Kettle.
Elder Kettle, yeah.
You shout out to Johanna. That's the voice that we mostly do at each other. Like, we all love our Elder Kettle.
We love it.
I have to agree.
Hey, Elder Kettle.
Yeah.
He's still Oh, okay, gotcha.
Funny coincidence. So much kind of like how, Elder Kettle has his favorite radio. I was wondering, what was your most prized possession, much like Elder Kettle and his radio? What is your individual, most prized possession? Do not break this.
That's a good question. This is so random. I have a photo of Jennifer Coolidge and Lisa Kudrow at a drinks party in 2001 or something. And that is my most prized possession. Lisa Kudrow's in a leather jacket and Jennifer Coolidge is, I think, just chilling in something. But they're just posing for the camera. I don't know why, I don't know how I got it, but I have it and I love it. So, yeah.
I know you have something. Oh.
Yeah, this is enormous.
I also collect a lot of old gothy, medical, weird stuff too. And lots of old books. But choosing one, I've got a really good copy of Giant Size X-Men #1 hidden somewhere in a vault on a satellite that no one will find. So yeah, I guess I'll go with that.
Mine's this dress that it was it's from the 30s or something, and I bought it in the 90s, and I've worn it on every a special day, every time there was something cool that's happened, I was wearing that dress. And so, it still fits me, and I still wear it, and I haven't been wanting to clean it, because I don't want them to mess it up. There's some little tatters, but I knew they thought I was something was wrong with me, because I was at the place going, and this needs to be handled really carefully, because it really is my favorite. They're like, okay, lady, well, we're gonna be really careful. I was like, I know, but it's just really special. And I felt shut up, just clean the damn dress. But I just dropped it off, so I hope it's okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. My phone.
I can't live without my phone. I don't know about my phone.
Were there any difficult lines, lines you struggled with?
I'm bad at reading, so every line was tough for me at sometimes. But as long I'm very, very bad at cold reading, that's for sure. So if there was a long phrasing that I'd have to do, I'd have to look at it for 30 seconds before I say it, because I can't just read it and sound like a human talking or a cup talking. It just sounds like alien stuff if I don't look at it first. So pretty much everything. I'm bad at reading.
I got an answer. What do you all call the thing that you hold in your hand to find true north? It's a little compass. A what? Compass. It's a compass. A compass, because I'm from Queens, and that's the only word that I can't knock. I can't compass. You encompass something. You don't encompass. So I'm wrong. I understand that. I lawyer and but he's got this Lower East Side accent. Maybe he should say compass. No, it's a compass. It's a compass. It's a compass. So I say the line, right? It's a compass. So there. That was a very hard word for me, because I'm a dumb actor and I keep saying compass.
We had a while where we had a conversation about, because the devil's English, so I would say stick lur. and they would say, it's not coming across right, because we think you need to say it more in an American dialect, so stickla. So it was stickla instead of stickla, because apparently stickla just didn't sound as good in, like the little guy who keeps annoying him says, stickla.
I actually know it was excuse me.
That comes out of the punch. Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's a hard rock making guy.
Wait a minute.
You're like, I don't remember doing that. I am hilarious.
Sort of a follow-up to his question, what were your, any favorite kind of lines you got to do in the show?
Oh, I think when the devil is hosting his own congratulations party to himself, and he goes like, congratulations to me! That was so fun, and then I think that line kind of then started a sort of repetition of a lot of that became a theme throughout the whole of his lines of just saying it. So.
Wait, what?
That's my favorite part. He says that over and over again throughout the series if you watch. It's just like, it's almost like a catchphrase every certain point. So I love it.
Wait, what?
You know, like crickets.
I like when she's all the different words for jail. She was like,
Throw you in the slammer and the clink and the old hooba dooba. Hooba dooba.
Sorry.
I don't have favorites though. Sorry.
And if you were listening to me and you respect this person, you know.
I've got a boundary here right now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. Consider this a third follow-up, but what's your favorite scene from a character that you do not play? I'm so sorry.
Actually, I can answer this. It's from Dirt Nap, right?
Oh God.
When Elder Kettle is literally getting blown up from like edge to edge, I audibly laughed when that happened. So that's my favorite one that I'm not in.
Same.
I think I'm gonna agree with that
I
one.
would say same too. It was so fun. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jeremy.
Hi.
Yeah. Well, what do you think of the show having surprisingly dark moments for a TV YE7 show?
Oh, love it. Love it so much. That's the one thing, like, the best thing about the show is that there's less arguments over who's gonna get the remote control, because there's something for everybody in the living room. And just for my personal taste too, you know, it's very much of the time of that era. It's brilliant.
I like it. I would like it if maybe just a hair more, maybe, possibly. Like, I think, because, like, the Cuphead game, it has that vibe, at least to me, just a bit, like, you know, like, it kind of has, like, a dark tone to it, especially, like, with the animation and how some of the creatures, like, the faces that they make and stuff, so, like, I love when the devil was, like, freaking out that one time and, like, just transforming into a bunch of things, like, to me, I was like, oh, if I was a kid, I'm like, this is kind of a little bit similar.
Yeah. Since my character brings a lot of the darkness, it was a lot of fun to play all those dark moments. But really, like, I mean, they would really paint the picture for you when recording, and like, you know, like, yeah, we're here for the comedy, but you have to make this. You have to be really scared of me right now. That's like, okay, I'm really scared. Yeah.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
So this one's a trio. Are you with like the Cuphead show meme where Cuphead like use and then he says the MF word?
Have I seen something?
Like the Cuphead.
There's a meme online. It's not
Like it gets edited from, you know, when the show, Where he's like, let's see, Jimmy, like,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
yeah,
And
someone
you know.
edited to where he calls Jimmy
Oh, really?
which I'm not gonna say because, you know, small children.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Somebody said that to me, so I can see that. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea that was a thing.
Definitely the sort of thing, if you want to bring it to him at his table where
Yeah.
there are no small children.
Mike's a bit tall, so
I feel bad because I didn't realize there were small children. Sorry. I'm around small children all the time. This is my vacation.
I've seen MVP of this entire convention.
I just wanted to ask, how many takes did the screams and just general random noises take? Did they take a lot of takes or not?
I did a lot of screaming. We did lots of varieties of screamings. Not screamings. I mean, sometimes it would just be like, okay, we would save all of the screens till the end of the recording session, so I would do all of the regular lines, and then they're just like, okay, we have like 30 minutes, let's just get all of these screaming lines. But yeah, it was horrible. It was great. Thank you.
Hey Frank, I was trying to tilt it up. You kind of answered this a minute ago, but I was gonna say, Cuphead has this catchphrase. It's I ain't too worried about it, banana oil. I was gonna say, Mugman deserves his own catchphrase. You said this earlier, the wait what, but I was gonna ask, what would his catchphrase be?
I feel like that's it.
Yeah.
You know, like 'cause he's just constantly faced with
Wait, what?
I think
Yeah,
I know.
wait, there's Lucas still. The world is crazy, and he's just kind of like observing it in disbelief and constant.
Thank you.
Sure. I love your shirt. Oh, that's so cool.
Totally away from the show, is there anything throughout your life that you did and then fully regretted doing?
Every time. Very all the time.
Oh no!
Oh my god.
So, in the game, the characters don't really have voices, so when you all first got cast, how did you go about finding the voice for the characters?
I mean, I was lucky that I had a pretty clear vocal reference in Tim Curry, but it didn't. That's not without saying that. Like while doing it, I was just like fully understanding like how many people play the game, and you were just like, is this? Am I doing the right? Is everyone gonna like this? My interpretation of this. So, but I was lucky that I had a reference point.
Yeah, I think kind of back to one of my answers earlier, like they had sent some references and a lot of stuff was like 1930s like mob movies and stuff like that. And then also there was a scene from I was about to say Little Mermaid, a scene from Pinocchio when Pinocchio goes to that island or something.
Yeah.
Pleasure Island, and he starts to turn into a donkey. Whoever the boy that's with him, they were like, pay attention to this voice actor kind of a thing. So, and then where it more from, I have no idea. And yeah, but also what Luke was saying, like, because I know the game was so popular, and then you know, he doesn't have a voice in the game. You always kind of wonder, it's like, oh man, we're gonna hate my voice because like they're like, oh, that's not what I pictured in my head. But I guess you guys don't hate it, so.
I didn't get a voice reference. They said, do the old-fashioned voice you do. I was like, okay. I created my, no, but I mean, I wish I had one because I really love a voice reference. I love to like see what they're going for.
The game is so like influenced by old like Fleischer and Disney cartoons, early ones. So I think it was just like all of us sort of got this weird, rare opportunity to like originate a character out of time that would be able to talk to those characters. So there's definitely that. So hopefully the DNA got in there somehow.
I think you all did perfect.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So I have a bit of a more generalized question that we touched on or glossed on over earlier, but do you have any like tips and tricks for aspiring voice actors?
Well, go for it. I think my favorite thing to do is to go and sit, I said this yesterday, but like go and sit in like the random Starbucks that's like attached to the Target or like Walmart, and just sit and listen to people as they walk by and like they're like, Phil, come on, or whatever like they say. Like I think that's the best way, just sitting in public and listening to people's voices. Oh my god, listening to people who are on the phone. Oh, I think that's one of my favorites because you usually get people at their most vulnerable. So you find the voices can be sometimes crazy. But that and theatre, lots of theatre.
I did theater all through high school.
Perfect, so lovely there.
I would say, because the way that I got into and I'm not saying this how everyone gets in or if it will work for everybody, but how I kind of got into voice acting is I used to have this video online where I did a bunch of impressions and different voices and stuff. And so my agents saw that video, and so I would say, yeah, create reels or TikToks or whatever, of you doing these voices and practice it too. Practice, and put it out there. I think that's a good way to like get seen for sure.
Improv.
Yeah.
Learn, take an improv class outside of just getting over your fears and stuff. That's the muscle you're going to use most in the booth. Like impressions are awesome, and that's the work that you need to do. But those instincts to kind of like think on your feet and create stories at the same time is kind of integral to collective.
All the improv and theater and all that, and then when you're ready, getting yourself out there and getting followers like online that are like creating content is so important. But sometimes people go, I want to do voiceovers, and I haven't really taken any classes, but I have this really good mic. I just spent $3,000 on a microphone, and I'm like, oh my god, no. That's like saying like I want to be a surgeon. I just bought this amazing knife. And
Testing it out.
I know. Make sure you're ready, like before you spend all that money, like do all the little groundwork things, So yeah.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Oh, and another tip, if you book stuff, if you get into, the voiceover world, is when I do takes, I usually do 3 takes in a row, and I try to make them different. I'm not giving you 3 same things. I'm saying it this way because there's like a million ways just to say one word. So I always try to do 3 takes and give them variety. And I think like, especially when you go in there and you do that, and they don't even have to ask you, you'll get a lot of work. It's like, yeah, they'll come in and like give us a bunch of variety to choose from, and it's easy. So I would say,
And sometimes they won't book you on the role that they brought you in for, but one of your takes will be so different that they're like, oh, we could use that voice for this other character. So you'll always get a job out of it, even if you don't get the one that you get 3 different chances.
And include the weird take.
Yeah.
Like, because whenever you read something, you can hear the voice that it's written in. And everyone's going to give that voice. We talked about it yesterday. Like, give the weird one that only your interpretation is. Because no one has your interpretation.
Like Grimm on the Grimm Adventures of Billy and Mandy, it was written like a British man, and every single person did a British accent. So when Grey Eagles came in and was like doing that Rastafarian thing, it was perfect. It wasn't written. Nobody else read it like that. That's the reason he booked it, because it's so different.
Awesome, thank you guys so much.
And this is going to be our last question because we're right at time, so no pressure.
One second, ear malfunction. There we go. Are there any like bloopers or like a voice or not voice, line y'all said just like so horribly wrong that it's just funny?
Oh gosh. I mean, we wouldn't have had access to it, but there was definitely stuff like that in recordings. Yeah.
again, I don't read well. It's just me stumbling over just the simplest of words, like
There was a lot of times when I would be doing it or like, you know, screaming whatever, and they'd be like, that was great, that was so fun, we love that interpretation. If you wouldn't mind just like moving less, just, you're using a lot of your body. We're picking up the shirt on the mic. And I'm like, ooh, thanks, yeah.
One thing, a note I was always getting too was to tone it down. It was like, oh, Mugman's actually right next to you in this. You don't have to scream. In everything, I was thinking, oh, Cuphead's obviously screaming. And no, I wasn't in some of those. So that was a note that I would get.
Oh yeah, this is more of a quiet scene. This is more of a conversational scene. You're at the table with each other. Oh, okay, fine. Yeah. Thank you.
It's a compass.
And with that is our panel's conclusion. You can find everybody at their tables at the Walk of Fame, yes?
Yeah.
We'll have autographs and pictures and all of that. Do you have any more panels?
Yes, tomorrow.
Yes.
And then
Oh my God.
Wednesday. Someone has a bad But yes, is the answer.
Thank you so much. You've been a wonderful audience.
Thank you.